stay for the cutest cake ever. A colorful on the inside, rainbow mini cupcake birthday cake. Hello you, it's me, Rox of RoxStarBakes. If you're new to my channel, my passion is helping you make sweet treats, because adults need magic too. This is a cute but very easy cake. If you want a more detailed project with tiny cupcakes, I recommend my Hello Kitty birthday cake. I felt so accomplished when I was done with the cookie toppers. But stay for this. The tools that you will need are cake tools, decoration tools, let's get into it. I start by making the vanilla cake. To save you time, because this video is all about the cake decorating, I have a link to the recipe in the description. I divide a little bit of the batter. In this video, I make 8 colors just because. Pink, red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, and purple. Remember that it's easier to add than remove, so be conservative with the gel food paste. I find the best way to mix batter is to mix a little of each color all the way through, a little batter. And then I add more batter until it's about even. I distribute the batter into 4 5-inch pans that are lined with parchment paper. In my experience, it's best not to grease the sides so the cake batter can crawl up the sides as they're baking and get super tall. If we're friends on Instagram, you know that I like a taller and fluffier cake. I randomly add the colored batter into each pan. I score the cake and spread it out evenly but gingerly so the colors don't overmix. Bang to release the huge air bubbles. Those are no fun. Ta-da! Rainbow cake batter. Bake according to the recipe. I always place my cake pans on a baking or cookie sheet for the most even heat distribution. Here are finished cakes. Once the cakes are cooled, level the cakes. I typically don't level in the cake pan, but I thought it looked so cool and I wanted to capture the steam from the cake. Ta-da! Again, rainbow cakes. And now for cake assembly. Adhere the first cake to the cake board with some frosting. I almost always use Swiss meringue buttercream for all of my cake decorating projects because it is not only delicious, it is super easy to decorate with. I'll share a link to that recipe, but what you'll need to know is that you will need 2 of the cake batch portions. You'll see what I mean when you get to the recipe. I love using a scooper because it gives me an even distribution to each layer. Fill the cake with frosting and use an angled spatula to evenly spread it. Looks nice and it's fun to do. Then add the next cake layer. To ensure the cake is sturdy, I press down between each layer. This is important because a lot is going to be going on it, and it's kind of tall. And I was thinking about it, you don't see it here, but I kneel and look at the side of the cake and move the cake layers around until I get the cake as centered as possible. And this might be overdoing it, but I always use a tiny level to make sure my cake is leveled. The more even each layer, the easier it's going to be to get an even cake top. Repeat until totally stacked. Did you press down on your cake? I continue to use the yellow frosting. Crumb coat the cake to lock in the moisture and capture the crumbs. It's a thin layer of frosting. I just add enough and then slowly remove excess away. If you have time, pop it in the fridge for 15 minutes before frosting. Here's that yellow frosting. I'd describe it as almost pastel. I think it'll help the cupcakes really stand out. For me, it's easier to use a piping bag to distribute the icing. Tighten the frosting with an angled spatula and then slowly remove the excess with a cake scraper to get that tight frosting. And now it's time for the decorations. I color the tiny peanut butter cups in white pixie luster dust. I like this one because it's kind of a holographic quality from some angles. I even added edible glitter. Here's a close-up of unfinished and finished luster dusting. Fancy! Distribute a little bit of frosting into a bowl and then color. You guessed it. Rainbow. Well, mostly rainbow. Pink. Red. Orange. Green. Blue, and purple. Because the base is yellow, I skipped that one. I ended up with about 3/4 to a cup of each color. Here's a bag with frosting and a coupler with a Wilton 21 tip. I did this for each color. Pipe a little frosting swirl onto the mini peanut butter cup to make the mini cupcake. Here are the nonpareil sprinkles that I use. They're pastel. Here's my tip. To avoid a heavy and dense sprinkling, sprinkle from higher up. Refrigerate for at least 10 minutes before cutting to avoid buttercream smushing. Obsessed with these little guys. This is the good stuff, the knife heating. I've found that if I heat up the knife first, the cupcakes won't squish while cutting. All right, we are back to the cake. These halves are going to go on the birthday cake. They're cold. Use a toothpick to place some of the white chocolate onto the back of the cupcakes. Add some adorable cupcakes to the cake directly. I hold each there for a few seconds. To help them adhere, press the top of the peanut butter cup. On the cake board, I place sprinkles to line up where I would place the mini cupcakes to make it easier to see. I thought to give you the best experience, I should keep the front of the cake towards you. Now, after experiencing this, my self-taught baker tip is to mark on top of the cake. Maybe on top of the cake with a little knife mark, exactly where the columns should be. If the cake or cupcakes get warm along the way, which mine did, just pop them back in the fridge to firm. I left them there and grabbed them along the way. Super cute details. For the top of the cake, I wanted to bring back Jack from my Rainbow Cloud Surprise Inside cake video. Before I place the topper, I find my favorite side of the cake. This will be the face. Here is Jack the Cloud. I added some edible matte luster dust with a food-only brush to his cheeks to make him appear even happier, like so happy. Add some buttercream. Place the cloud on top of the cake. Whoa, MG. Mini cupcake birthday cake success. Very simple cake project with all the colors. And who would you gift this cake to? And that's it. Kidding, about to cut the cake in a second here. And here we go. Look how vibrant the cake is. By the way, Jack is funfetti sprinkle cake on the inside. Hit that bell notification and that like to get the latest videos. Helps me make more videos that you'll love. Coming up is a cake idea playlist that I am always adding videos to. Thanks for watching. Bye. And that's a wrap.